Welcome back to Small Talk Japan, the show where we talk about all things Japan. I'm your host, not Mitch, but Josh, and I'm here with...
Alex, hello, hi. How you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing, Alex?
I'm good, man, yeah. Where's Mitch?
I'm not sure where he is right now. I think he's still in America, probably.
He's in America, in Vegas.
In Vegas.
Having a good time.
Yeah, just partying it up over there.
Yeah, I saw some of his posts on Instagram, like on some kind of, roller coaster type thing or whatever, I don't know. I guess that's what they do every day there.
Yeah. He's just been sending me a ton of pictures of like food and all that stuff, all the Mexican food and American barbecue.
Right.
I'm not even replying to him. He's just sending me all these pictures.
Just ignore him. Ignore them all. Don't even read them. So what have we got today?
All right.
Stories-wise.
We've got a few articles for you today. We're going to be talking about the review site Tabelog, who was sued because of their change in algorithm causing restaurants to lose money.
Okay.
We'll also be talking about the man who was arrested over nailing a straw doll of Vladimir Putin to a sacred shrine tree.
Okay. I've got some stories about Japan welcoming foreign tourists, Adventureland Iojima, a kind of park in Kagoshima that was massively overfunded. Internet Explorer ending its life in Japan. 120-member sex party that happened in the regions. And also drugs in Japan, finally. Can you do them? Would you want to? What are the results? Who knows? Let's find out later on.
Roll that intro. Well, I can't really roll the intro because I'm over here.
Because you're sat here, right?
Yeah.
It'll be coming on now anyway, though, won't
yeah,
it? You know
I'll
what I
be
mean?
playing it now.
Yeah.
So, what's new with you, Alex?
Not a lot, man. I'm quite busy at the moment, just starting some new projects up, so I've been running around a bit. But thankfully today I had a day off, so I came into town, got some nice coffee, had an open-faced sandwich at home before I came here.
Is that just a sandwich without the top?
It is a sandwich without the top, but that is European and trendy.
Yeah,
so.
I've never heard of that until I came to Japan.
Yeah, I mean, you probably don't have it in Hawaii because everything's got like avocado and fucking, I don't know, healthy stuff in it, I guess. But
you really think Hawaiians eat healthy food?
They eat moko, whatever.
Moko?
Yeah, that. I have no idea, man.
Yeah. Like I was actually talking about this with my students this week, my adult students, but I've been really missing Hawaiian food recently.
What is Hawaiian food, just to recap? Because I have no idea, man. I know pineapple on a pizza is Hawaiian, apparently.
That was made in Canada, actually.
Right.
But we don't want to take the slack for that.
Right, good. Okay, yeah.
But there are two types, obviously. There's like the traditional stuff, which is like a lot of fish and pork and vegetables and stuff like that, which it's all right, I think.
Yeah.
It's not the best. But the like more modern day things, it's basically like a giant bento, but it's always 2 scoops of rice. And I say scoop because they use ice cream scoopers to scoop. Yeah, I'll show you a picture of it afterward.
Right.
There's always a scoop of macaroni salad and then like a ton of some kind of meat, like chicken katsu or some kind of grilled meat or something like that.
So it's like fusion food then? A bit of Japanese, a bit of American, a bit of local Hawaiian?
A little bit of everything, I would say. Like the flavors are definitely like Asian influence, but not just Japan.
Nice.
It's really nice though. Very unhealthy.
Well, for me, like being British though, I've never thought to go to Hawaii because like if you want to go on a beach holiday, you go to France or Spain or whatever.
Right.
And it's like, it seems like an awfully long way to go.
It's like the other side of the other side of the world, right?
You know what I mean? So not many people from the UK, I guess, go to Hawaii, but you know, I suppose it's that kind of destination. Japanese people love it, right?
Yeah, I've never really thought about that, but yeah, we don't have that many European visitors in Hawaii.
Yeah. And it's also America, which is kind of like, you know, it doesn't feel very cultured. Sorry.
Shots fired.
Sorry, I was looking at Mitch's Instagram and felt that a little bit. So what can you say, man? Right, let's get on with a story talking about culture and visitors as well. So Japan is actually getting ready to welcome foreign tourists back. And in fact, on the 10th of June, they opened up their borders a tiny little bit for tours coming into Japan. So they allow small groups accompanied by tour guides. Actually, individuals are also okay, but you need to have a tour guide with you at all times. And you also need to have a visa to get into the country, a negative PCR test, and then you need to give your itinerary in advance to the government to check where you're going to be staying, where you're going to be going, and also you have to have health insurance too as well. So there's a lot of hoops to jump through and a lot of red tape. But 98 countries and regions are allowed to take part in these tours. and people have started to use them in some small numbers. So I think this month there were 300 people that used them. 300 people is ridiculously low number.
Do you have like any kind of ballpark estimate of how many people were coming to Japan before the pandemic?
So before the pandemic, 30 million.
30 million.
2019.
So now we're at 300.
And we're at 300 now, so we've got a little ways to go to get back to that.
Almost there.
Yeah, and then next month there's 1,000 people apparently. Wow.
Hey, that's over 3 times.
Yeah.
That's much over.
So it's like they've gone up. If you just look at the percentage increase, they've done a really good job.
Exactly.
But no other way they've done a good job. So mainly this is the bigger travel companies, obviously. You know, some foreign travel companies my friends operate and things like that. They've been able to get license to send people into Japan. And if you're willing to jump through the hoops, I guess you can see Japan without too many tourists, which is probably quite a nice thing to have. But again, you know, you're going to be restricted as to where you can go and what you can do, which is never really a nice feeling when you're on holiday somewhere.
Right. I mean, this isn't one of the articles that I printed, but have you heard that Kyoto announced that they're going bankrupt or something like that?
Yeah, that's been around for a long time, actually. So Kyoto actually makes a lot of money out of tourism, but the people who make money generally tend to be the temples and shrines and things like that. And because they're religious organizations that don't really pay tax, you know, they don't pay back into the municipal fund. So the city itself has been having financial issues for a number of years now. And I don't know if that's 100% accurate or not. I've not looked into the details. I know Tokyo Lens, Norm, did a video about it. Is Kyoto really going bankrupt? I've not watched it, so I don't know what his findings were.
Right. I started watching it actually a few minutes ago. I don't have enough time to watch the whole thing. So.
What was the gist?
I only got to the first few minutes where he was interviewing someone in Kyoto, I think in the government. I'm not sure. I had it on the other screen while I was printing things out. But it sounded like that person seemed surprised when Kyoto announced that they were going bankrupt. They were like, huh, what, really? Like, what are you talking about? Right. Attitude. So I think it depends on, like you said, which part of it. The tourism industry is obviously not doing very well right now.
I think it's the city, and the city's had this problem pre-pandemic as well.
Right.
So it's an ongoing issue. As far as I'm aware, I've not looked into it in any deep way at all, so I don't know. But I can imagine that the municipal budget is actually fairly small, because most of the tourism infrastructure, you know, people ride on buses and things like that, but it's not a huge revenue generator.
Right.
So, you know.
Yeah, now that I think about it, like everything that I've done in Kyoto is basically just the shrines and temples, and a lot of them are even like free to see.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So they're not getting like any money out of me when I go and visit them.
So now there's an accommodation tax when you stay in Kyoto. You pay a tax to stay in a hotel. I think it's 1,000 yen or something like that. I can't remember. So leveraging tax for people to stay in city areas and things like that's a good thing going forwards. And for me, I mean, my view is a little extreme perhaps, but I think they should really put an upper limit on the amount of visitors that can enter the city at one time.
Well, I mean, if they're going to start changing the way that they do tourism in Japan, I think it's a good idea. Like you've mentioned before, like doing more high-end, more interesting personal tours and things like that versus just like thousands and thousands of people being crammed into Kiyomizu-dera.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to Kiyomizu-dera when it's really busy, and it's horrible. I mean, it's just like a horrible theme park with you know people with selfie sticks taking photos and dragging luggage about and things like that.
Right.
And it's certainly not that old Japan that people are looking for.
Yeah, I've mentioned in another episode, but I've been there during one of their peak seasons. I think it was either cherry blossom season or when they had the maple leaves.
Yeah.
But there were so many people walking together. It was like we're crammed shoulder to shoulder, and you can't even move. And the stream of people is constantly moving. Like you can't stop to take any pictures or do anything.
But interesting, I was there in Golden Week because I actually had to do a demonstration, like martial arts demonstration in Kyoto. And I was going down, I was in Gion with the family because my kids had never been to Kyoto. So I took them to Gion and those kind of places to have a look. And it was very, very busy on the main street. But actually, if you go into the back alleys, there's nobody there. You know, people are all interested in the main tourist spot. But if you go into the slightly smaller areas and the galleries that are back there and stuff like that, you can actually find some private space as well, even when it's full. But you've got to just look a little bit harder and go off the tourist track. But yeah, they definitely need to, you know, reduce the amount of visitors, increase the spend, but not squeeze out everybody. It's not just for luxury tourists. It's got to be for, you know, people who are interested, really, you know.
Right.
So yeah, what have you got? Have you got a story there? Taberogu.
Yeah, let's talk about Taberogu. So When you go looking for a restaurant, like you're told about a new restaurant or something,
Yeah.
and you look online, what website do you use to check the reviews and stuff like that?
What I usually do is Google
Right.
Maps, and then I look at their website as well, just to see if they've got a shit website or not.
So is that the deciding factor?
Well, sometimes if they've got a shit website, it can be a good restaurant as well.
If it's like a really old restaurant or something like that.
Or if they're so good that they don't need to have a website.
Oh, I see.
Do you know what I mean? So those places kind of okay as well. But I do always have a look just in case to see what it is. But mainly Google Maps, I think, yeah.
Yeah, me too. In Japan, Tabelog, I think, is the most popular one.
Yeah.
I think probably Google Maps is getting more popular nowadays. Yeah. But when you are looking at a restaurant for the first time or looking at a list of new restaurants, what is your range of like, okay, I'll go to this restaurant? Like, is it from 4 stars? Is it from 3 stars?
For reviews?
Yeah.
This is really culturally a problem, right? So Japanese review sites have, on average, much lower scores than English language review sites.
Right.
So most of the reviews on Tabelog are about 3.5 to 3.7. It's unusual to see 4 stars. And if you see 5 stars, something fishy is going on.
They have one review or something.
Right. Yeah, just one review from the people who own the restaurant. Right. So with Japanese review sites, 3.5 is, certainly good enough. With foreign review sites, if it's got 4, that piques my interest usually. But I mean, like when I'm in Tokyo and stuff like that, I'm actually fairly good at just walking down an alleyway or a street and finding a place and knowing from the kind of atmosphere whether it's good or not. I've done this so many times on my own, like on business trips.
Okay, I'll ask you about how you kind of gauge what's a good restaurant or not afterward.
Yeah.
But getting into the article, operator of major restaurant review site Tabelog ordered to pay damages. So a Japanese court on Thursday has ordered the operator of Tabelog to pay about 38.4 million yen in damages. How much is that in?
38 million. That's 3,800 yen. So
probably like $300-something thousand.
I have no idea.
I think it's about $300,000 probably.
More than that, maybe.
Well,
anyway,
with the yen so weak right now. Anyways, they were ordered to pay 38.4 million yen in damages to a Korean barbecue chain, judging that its rating algorithm is unfairly designed for chain outlets. So in the lawsuit, Handumura claimed that the scores of about 20 outlets of its Korean barbecue chain fell by an average of 0.2 points with a rating scale of 1 to 5. So I guess the biggest change was one restaurant in particular dropped by 0.45.
Okay.
So half a point, basically. I actually saw this on the news as well, and they interviewed a bunch of people on the streets and stuff like that. Like, would you go to a restaurant that was 3.5 stars? Would you go to a restaurant that's 3 stars?
Right.
And almost everybody said they would go to a 3.5 star restaurant, but most people said they wouldn't go to a 3-star restaurant.
Right.
So they said that this restaurant change lost about 5,000 customers per month after the change.
I see.
So there was actually no change in the number of reviews, and the owner had a screenshot of before and after. Before it had said like 27 reviews, 3.5 or something.
Okay.
And then afterward it said 27 reviews and then 3.0.
Right, I see.
So just the change in algorithm, I don't know how they changed the average.
Right, yeah.
Without a change in number of reviews.
No, that's strange. I don't know why they would do that. I mean, I'm no stranger to review sites. Obviously, been in the tourism industry, so TripAdvisor and whatever, Google, Yelp. I don't know. There's so many types,
right?
And that it does affect people's opinion. If you see 4.5 stars or 4 point whatever, you think, oh, this place is going to be better,
right?
So I can see why it would have an impact on their business. And you're right; it's about $300,000 of damages.
So this online service opened in 2005, and they feature more than 820,000 restaurants and bars on their website.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see the need for these kind of sites anymore because Google Maps is really killing it in that
exactly.
space. Like TripAdvisor before was quite good for finding restaurants and stuff, but the problem with TripAdvisor is that the use of it is basically by people on holiday or somewhere from outside the destination. Google Maps is just literally a map application. So there's no, nuance that you're actually on holiday or anything. So even locals could use that then.
Right. You can literally just search through the map and for restaurants and then look like, okay, this place looks. We did that the other day actually on our film location for people of Kagoshima.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
I just found a random restaurant. It's pretty good.
Yeah,
it had decent reviews.
Yeah.
More than 3.5.
Do you look at the photos?
I do look at the photos. For me, I always look at the photos, both the website and professionally done photos, but also the customer's photos, because I feel like the customer photos are a more accurate representation of what you're going to receive.
I mean, I always try and get a recommendation if I'm going somewhere. Somebody who lives there and knows the area and knows kind of what I like. I do ask around for things like that. But I do like to go to very local places that, are just down alleyways. And I like the kind of serendipity of finding somewhere. So I might look on Google Maps and find an area with lots of restaurants, but not specifically look at any of them, just walk around until I see one I like the look of.
Okay, so if you're in a new area, let's imagine our viewers are coming to Japan for the first time. Borders are opening. All 1,000 people are.
All right, everybody. all 1,000 of coming to Kagoshima.
Yeah, coming to Kagoshima.
Wherever. Yeah.
What would you recommend to do and not to do when you are looking for a new restaurant? What are some red flags? And
if you're on holiday, it's a bit of a different thing, because if you've got a language barrier, for example, or you can't read Japanese or whatever, or you're tired because you've been traveling all day, you kind of want to get somewhere in advance. You don't want to be walking around, traipsing around to a restaurant. You get in there, you think, oh God, is it okay? Can we eat this? Can we eat that?
Right.
Are there any spaces available? You can't negotiate. So in that regard, I would say it's better to find somewhere in advance and go there. Plan out your evening to go to this place or that place. But like for me on a business trip, because I kind of know what the restaurant is from the outside anyway, just looking at it, you can tell what kind of place it is. And I can go in and have a chat with the owner. It's a bit easier to navigate that. So once I was in Tokyo, there was like this place in Akasaka up a little street, and there was no sign or anything like that. All it had was a lantern with a circle and a cross on, like the Shimazu family crest.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, cool, what's this place? So I knocked on the door and opened it up. And they just came up to me and went, oh, no foreign people, no tourists or something like that. And I was like, well, actually, I'm from Kagoshima and I work for this company. I gave them my business card. And they were like, oh, please come in. So they let me. And actually, afterwards, they were really, really friendly. And I've been going back for years since then. But their problem was that they're right next to Roppongi. And they used to get a lot of drunk tourists coming down. And the locals didn't like people being loud in the restaurant. So they just stopped letting other people in, basically. And when I went in, there was an American lawyer who lives in Tokyo, and he'd been going there for many years as well. So he was like, yeah, it's kind of a bit of a more exclusive type place or whatever. But randomly finding those kind of things is much easier if you speak Japanese, obviously.
That's true. I have a question about hotel restaurants. You've been to a lot more hotels than I've been to in Japan, I assume. Right. Do you find that hotel restaurants in Japan are generally good or not? Because the ones that I've been to in Kagoshima, and I haven't been to a ton of hotels, but for the most part, they're not amazing. Mm-hmm. Do you think that they're worth it or not worth it?
Depends on the hotel and where. So, I mean, I had a very good meal in Tokyo in some nice hotels there. It totally depends on the hotel, the chain, who the chef is that's running the restaurant, the quality level as well. For regional hotels, and ones with lots of different restaurants and things, I don't think the quality is that good usually. It's okay, but it's not amazing. So for example, there's a local hotel here and their kind of kappo restaurant or whatever, Chinese restaurant, okay. Sushi restaurant's kind of okay, but the teppanyaki restaurant's quite good. So, it depends on the
a little hit and miss
style, right? You know what I mean?
I see.
But the big chains in Tokyo have got some really nice restaurants. So Palace Hotel's really good. Aman was very good. Yeah. But expensive, unfortunately. Yeah. Get someone else to pay is my tip.
All right. What else you got?
Okay, next. This is a bit of a tragic story, really, about a place called Adventureland Iojima, which is an island, actually, just south of the mainland here in Kagoshima. Have you been there?
I've never been there. I've actually never heard about this. What is this?
So Iojima is a place called Mishimamura. It's a tiny little island, it's one of the closest to the mainland from Kagoshima, but it's actually very difficult to get to. So there's, I think, a ferry once a day.
Once a day?
Maybe.
Can you go there privately?
No.
So you have to take that one ferry?
Yeah.
So is it an overnight location then?
It's an overnight location if you would choose to go there. The island's very interesting because it's basically an active volcano and the sea around it is all yellow with sulfur.
Okay.
It's literally bright yellow. It's really weird. And I believe they have peacocks living on the island wildly.
I see.
Which have been released from somewhere, that I imagine. And I believe the locals also do some like djembe, African drumming, for some reason. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
I feel like you're just making stuff up.
I'm just making this up. No, it's all true. It's all true. So basically, the local government created a place called Adventureland Iojima on the foot of Mount Iyo. And the idea was to get school kids from Kagoshima to go and visit, therefore increasing the number of people who use the ferry service to get there, which would then hopefully increase the amount of ferries needed to travel people across there and boost local tourism in the local economy.
Okay.
So this was built in 2004 at the expense of about 520 million yen, which is quite a substantial amount of money.
So that's over $5 million.
That's correct. And it was an accommodation building, an exchange building, and a cooking building, which can accommodate up to about 150 people. The project cost is about 11.7 million yen a year, and unfortunately, it's not been used very much. So it was built in 2004, and it saw a bit of use from local schools and things like that, but it's tailored off, gradually over time. And for the last 3 years, its total usage income was 25,000 yen, which is
for the past 3 years total.
3 years total, which is nothing.
Is that like before they have to pay other stuff or after? Like, do they have staff working there? Or?
They have staff working there, I believe. So that's uriage, so that doesn't mean their profit.
Oh, so it's just complete loss.
It's probably a complete loss, a complete and utter loss. And I guess they build it for education purposes, so they're not that bothered about turning a profit from it. But, at the current rate of 500 million yen, loan from the government, essentially, it'd take like 60,000 years to pay it off at that rate.
So they're getting there. They're getting there.
They're getting there, but it's going to take, until the next tragic, what's it called? Asteroid event wipes out life on the Earth.
Right.
So, these kind of things, it's really just badly managed. It's a bit of a shame, really, because they could have used it for many different things. During COVID, it could have been used for microtourism to send people over there. It could have been used for events.
It sounds like a pretty cool island.
I mean, it's a cool island. The actual accommodation itself is kind of boring. It looks like a military, camp or
like
something
a
like that.
Standard
Or
government building.
Disaster relief area or something. Very minimal, built for school kids,
Right.
But, it's not been publicized, and also it's hard to book because you have to book it through the Board of Education, not through any tourism kind of body or something like that. So there are actually loads of places like this around Japan. They call it hakozukuri, so they build a box basically,
right,
using a load of government funds, and then it doesn't get used for anything. So all you need is creative people to come in and say, maybe we should use it for this, we should use it for that, and try and get some revenue out of it. I mean, you don't have to make a load of money if it's for education, but it's better not to lose all that money,
right,
and take it out of the taxpayer's pocket. So what can you say? Maybe you should take a trip there.
I mean, no.
Nah. I'm all right.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm not bothered about peacocks and African drumming. It's a nice island, though. I mean, it could be used in an interesting way, I think, but it needs a bit of thought. So maybe I'll put some effort into that over the next few months. Okay, what have you got next?
I've only got one more, so maybe you can do another.
All right, cool. So Internet Explorer, do you remember that browser? It's been a while since people used it, I think. It's going to shut down in Japan and cause headaches for months, apparently. So customers using Internet Explorer, mainly government agencies, financial institutions, manufacturing and logistics companies, are complaining to Microsoft about the fact that Internet Explorer is going to be put out of action on Wednesday after 27 years of service, with many users transitioning to Google Chrome or maybe Edge or something like that. And these Japanese companies haven't updated their computer systems, so they're still using Internet Explorer from years ago, probably an unupdated, insecure version of Internet Explorer. And because they've got problems with that, they're going to lose money and an amazing amount of time as well.
So you have 2 kids. Do they have computer studies at school?
They do, but it's not really very in depth. I think maybe they open a spreadsheet or do something like that. So what I did was I bought a computer, or I gave actually my son my old computer, and installed Creative Cloud from Adobe on it, and Microsoft Office, and just let them play on it.
Right.
So he installed Steam immediately and downloaded my games catalog and just started playing that.
Smart kid.
So I said, you've used initiative to do that, so go ahead. But it's important to get kids using these kind of programs and getting used to them. I mean, it may change when they're adults. They may not be using a mouse and a keyboard anymore. I don't know.
Right.
But that technology has been with us for such a long time. I don't see it disappearing anytime soon.
Yeah. At our Eikaiwa, I think we teach the kids more computer skills than they learn in school. Like we teach them how to do learn touch typing, and then how to use Word, how to do Paint, PowerPoint.
Right.
Like we teach the kids all these things in elementary school.
Right.
And for the most part, they're all very quick to learn it and stuff like that. But when I ask all the kids, like, oh, do you have computers at home? Like, I don't think a single student has a computer at home.
Yeah, a lot of people don't have them. I mean, I've always been like a computer nerd, so I've built my own computers since I was a kid. And I do like doing that. And it's hard to get the parts in Japan. They're so expensive. It's just mad.
Yeah, I was trying to build a computer for forever, but I mean, parts are expensive all around the world right now, but I think especially in Japan, it's just really difficult to get it. We in America, we have various websites like Newegg, and it's been years since I built a computer in America, but we have options there.
Yeah.
In Japan, it's like you have to go to like an electric shop.
Yeah.
Or
just Amazon.
Or Amazon.
Yeah. I mean, I did put a budget together on, I think it was Newegg or something like that, just to see how much my PC had cost. And I think it was a third more than I budgeted for.
Really?
Just because of the prices in Japan.
Yeah.
And also the graphics card went through the roof because of the chip issue.
Right.
Yeah. So what browser do you use on your computer?
I almost always use Chrome.
Yeah.
Like I have a Mac and a PC and my phone. Everything I use is Chrome. I use Firefox for some things on my work computer, but
porn.
Yeah, that's what I use my work computer for.
Yeah, for just different browsers, separate them. Right. You know what I mean? Right. So I use Chrome on most things. So I'm logged in, everywhere. So everything's across.
Yeah, exactly.
Multi-platform.
Very convenient.
Yeah.
I mean, last time I actually used Internet Explorer, other than to download Chrome, I think I must have been in like elementary school or junior high school on my mom's computer.
Right. Do you remember the old browser? You probably don't remember them. The first one I ever used was Spry Mosaic.
I think that's before mine.
So I used Mosaic and then Netscape Navigator. And then what else? Oh my God. It's been so many over the years. Went to Mozilla for a bit, and then, back to Explorer I did use for a little bit. And then on to probably Chrome, Safari, Firefox. I've used most of them, I think. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't see why Japanese companies don't update. I mean, Chrome, like, basically there's this thing a couple of years ago, somebody did like a piece of research in the US, I think it was. And they said if you use the default browser on your computer and don't change it, you are a less creative person than somebody who will mess around with it and found a different browser. So this is over, hundreds of thousands of people who did this research.
Right.
And it shows that people are more flexible and more adaptable for changing their browser away from the default. So if the default becomes Google Chrome now, what's going to be the second option? Do you know what I mean? What's the creative option beyond that?
Yeah. I mean, in America, at least, I think Chrome has become the most basic thing. Everybody's using Chrome. Yeah. But it's just so convenient, like you said, like with the password sharing or throughout all your devices and all that. It's just very convenient. But I was surprised by there was some statistic in there. I think it said that 50% of people in Japan use Internet Explorer. I think it said somewhere in there, but
yeah, it's hold on, let's have a look. 49% of respondents saying they use it for work. So I know a lot of people do it because I do a little bit of IT stuff for the company I work for,
right.
And people do use Internet Explorer a lot, and there's very, very little knowledge about internet security as well. You'd be surprised how weak people's passwords are, and people use the same password. Other employees, they all use the same password.
Right.
So if you wanted to cause some trouble online in Japan, all I'm saying is it's not very difficult to do so.
Yeah, I use Bitwarden to save all my passwords.
Okay.
But then all my passwords are like randomly generated, like 20 character long random
Yeah.
things.
No, I use Dashlane for similar.
Okay.
I couldn't live without it now because it's on, everything. It's on face recognition on my phone and whatever. So, I've no idea what my passwords are. The problem is, though, if you get locked out of your phone for some reason, or you don't have it with you and you need to log in somewhere, you've got literally no idea what your password is.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, what do I do? So I actually kind of took a screenshot myself and inputted a 25 character password with like weird characters just because that problem happened once.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So that's kind of boring worky type stuff. Have you got anything?
All right. I've got Japanese man arrested over Vladimir Putin straw doll nailed to shrine tree.
Okay.
So a 72-year-old man was arrested on Wednesday for allegedly nailing a straw doll bearing the face of Russian President Vladimir Putin to a sacred tree in a Shinto shrine near Tokyo, police said. So I'll put a picture of this online on the YouTube podcast, but so these are basically like Japanese voodoo dolls, right?
Yeah.
They're what do they represent? Is it like they want the person to die or?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. So it's like basically same as a voodoo doll, right? You stick pins in it and cause them pain or death. Something like you can buy them on the internet if you search for them. I've forgotten what they're called.
But yeah. I've seen this online too. You can buy this on Amazon. I think I saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. But the doll had a picture of Putin's face on it with a note in its breast wishing death to the Russian leader.
Right.
And the same or similar doll was found at 10 different shrines in eastern Japan since May. And you're saying it's probably the same guy.
Someone's been very busy then.
Yeah, I mean, wishing death on the Russian leader, sure, whatever, that's fine. But, like, why did he have to nail it to the sacred shrine tree thing?
Well, I think it's not Shinto, actually, strictly. It's more like a kind of folk religion type thing.
Okay.
But I think they obviously think it's got some kind of spiritual power to do it.
More sacred the tree.
Sacred shrine or something like that. But that's damaging, a property.
Right. It says that there are 2 holes in the tree now.
Right. He should go and fill them in.
With what?
I don't know. It's like tree stuff. Glue.
Okay.
Yeah. Another doll. I don't know. So, yeah, I wonder if it'll work. I mean, a lot of people are annoyed about Putin's actions in the moment, so hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been following the news recently, but have there been any big...
I've not been looking into Ukraine at the moment, which is, I know, a terrible thing because you do get desensitized to news like that when it comes out all the time, so it's not good to forget about it. But, there's some news about using cluster bombs and things like that. And also, I think Zelensky went to the UK to visit Boris Johnson as well recently, and Boris Johnson offered the UK military to train Ukrainian soldiers as well. So who knows what's going to happen? But hopefully it'll be over soon.
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay, so a bit more entertaining news or lighthearted news. Man and woman arrested for allegedly hosting. Allegedly host? I like this. Allegedly hosting. 120-member sex party in central Japan. How can you allegedly host a 120-member sex party? Surely the 120 naked people would be a sign.
Well...
I mean, they might not have been fucking, but what can you say?
So where did they have this party?
So this is in Shizuoka. A man and woman in the 50s were arrested on the 12th of June for allegedly hosting an orgy involving about 120 people at an accommodation facility in central Japan. So the police arrested Teruaki Tabuchi, who's 54 years old, who self-proclaimed, it says here, self-defense forces official from Narashino in Chiba Prefecture, and Saeko Kato, 51, who claims to be a nurse. I like to say claims to be a nurse as well. From the city of Funabashi, also in Chiba, on suspicion of assisting public indecency. Both said they've admitted to the allegations against them. So apparently they hosted a sex party involving some 120 people at a rental vacation home in Shizuoka Prefecture facing a lake. Yes.
I feel bad for the people who own that
I know,
vacation
yeah,
home.
there's a lot of cleaning. You want to take in a black light there.
Yeah, they probably went home and they're like, why is the floor sticky?
Yeah, burn those covers.
120 people, though. That seems like a little excessive.
Yeah, so, I mean, what do you do? I mean, that's too many people, isn't it, really?
Is it even exciting at that point?
I don't know, I suppose climbing over people and just like, you know.
Did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
You know that scene, the Battle of the Bastards, when they're fighting,
Yes.
there's that giant pile of all the people and they're all dying.
Yeah.
That's just what I thought of. You're just climbing over people.
Yeah, it's the naked version of that. And people actually paid 10,000 yen to join, which is $74. It's quite cheap, actually.
I mean, I was going to say that sounds expensive to me. Like,
No, I think that's not a lot of money for 100 people.
120 people, 1,000 yen, 10,000 yen a piece. That's decent money.
I've made 120 man out of it. That pays for the rental vacation home.
Maybe not cleaning, though.
Wow. So there's some participants who've come forward as well. Two people got arrested separately while hugging each other completely naked around the orgy venue at 3:40 a.m. on June 12th. One was a 52-year-old man who was a company manager, and the other was a 34-year-old woman who claimed to be a vocational school student at the age of 34. Come on. And they were participants, apparently. So, well, you know, check out Pornhub in a couple of months. I'm sure there'll be a video of it. They'll make a bit more money out of it. Yes. Okay, from sex on to drugs now. This is about cannabis in Japan and the use of CBD, despite huge taboos against drug culture in the country. So with its zero-tolerance cannabis laws, deep social stigma against the drug, and moves to tighten the rules on consumption, Japan is no stoner's paradise. So yeah, Japan's very, very strict on drugs. Absolutely no tolerance whatsoever. Basically 100% conviction rate. Possession alone will get you in prison. If you're foreign, you'll be deported. So highly recommended not to do illegal drugs in Japan.
Is there anything that's legal in Japan?
I don't know. I mean, looking into a couple of years ago, the legal highs and stuff like that, you know, were a big problem in Japan. So what the government did was they changed the law, because outlawing them would be very difficult right from the beginning, because they would have to get lots of chemicals tested and go through a long procedure to do so. So what they did was said that anybody in possession of legal highs will immediately be arrested and held for 6 months. And in that time, the chemicals that they're in possession of will be tested in a lab to see if they're illegal or not.
For 6 months?
Yeah.
So they're basically arrested for 6 months?
Yeah, so basically they went and rounded up everybody selling these things and just slashed the problem and got rid of it completely.
I see.
So Japan can be very good for things like that, because obviously legal highs are really horrible things and shouldn't be, you know, consumed by anybody. Yeah, as far as marijuana is concerned, yeah, it's very, very much frowned upon. Although, interestingly, there's a police station near to where I live in the countryside, and the copper had like a ganja leaf air freshener in his car, in a police car.
Really?
Yeah, just hanging. I don't think they know what it is. It looks like...
well, they might think it's a Japanese maple leaf.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, yeah. But it is definitely a cannabis leaf, and it has in like kind of reggae colors as well or whatever. So I was like, you know, I almost took a photo of it. I should have done, actually, come to think of it. But basically, cannabis oil, CBD, is starting to be adopted in Japan. Some people smoke it, apparently. So it's not illegal marijuana, but people roll joints containing CBD, which is the non-intoxicating part of cannabis that's become trendy worldwide and fast catching on in Japan. If it's the non-intoxicating part, I don't know why you would want to smoke it. What's the point?
Are there any benefits from smoking it?
I guess relaxation. But, I mean, it's being sold in vapes, drinks, and sweets in cafes, health stores, and in a shop in Tokyo's main airport as well. Didn't know that.
Oh.
Interesting. So, I mean, if you've got depression or mental health issues or something like that, CBD can help with it, I guess. But, you know, I don't know. I can't really comment. I've never tried it, so I don't know. I can't go into any details like that on here. So.
Yeah. Well, there's something I wanted to ask about. I heard that it's not just illegal to do drugs in Japan, but it's also illegal to have done drugs at some point in your life.
No, I don't think that's true.
Is that not true? Okay, no. Maybe someone was just pulling my leg then.
Because how would you prove it?
Like, I heard that when you go to the airport, when you go through customs, they ask you, like, have you ever done marijuana?
Who the fuck at the airport goes, have you ever done drugs? Yes, I have. Nobody says that. It's like when you come into the country and they go, do you have any swords, guns, paraphernalia with you? Nobody's going to say yes, are they?
My stepdad accidentally hit yes on the machine.
Did he?
Yeah, we were, it was in Oregon. It was like, our flight was at 4 a.m. So we got up at like 2 a.m, drove to the airport. We get to the machine. It's all like automatic machines. And it said, like, first question, it said, do you have explosives or firearms? And he was like, yes.
Yes, I do.
And then the machine just shut down and like security came.
No way.
And they're like, do you have explosives? And they're like, no, we pushed the wrong button. They're like, okay. But
did he have some? No.
Yeah, he did.
He did. Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. I mean, airports are weird, man. Like, I was in Germany recently, flying back to the UK, and I went up to the customs area or whatever to go through. It's transferring flights, so it doesn't take that long.
Right.
And the guy opens up my passport and he looks at it and he goes, oh, this is fake, isn't it? And I went, yeah, I made it myself. And he went, yeah, good job. Go on through. And it's like, that's a joke to German people. I don't know why it's funny, but, I just took it in the vein that he was talking to me in. But like my other friend who's Japanese went through Frankfurt and had basically the same interaction.
Yeah.
And because he's Japanese and he took it as literal, facts, what the guy was saying, he started panicking and he got really upset. Like, he's going, oh my God, it's not fake. No, I didn't. It's not fake. It's a real passport from the Japanese government. What are you saying? But, you shouldn't, people at the airport shouldn't fuck around with you. It's not funny. Yeah.
Have you ever had any kind of problems at the airport?
Not really. I've always been pretty smooth to go through, never really. I don't look suspicious, I don't think.
Yeah.
So, always pretty good. How about you?
My only problem is every time I go through to America, I don't know if they do this with other countries, but when they check your bag, they put like this paper in it and it says like your bag has been checked. I think last time I went back to America, it got checked 3 times on the way back. So like when I opened up my suitcase, there were 3 separate papers.
Oh, right.
Every single time I go to America, I get that paper. I don't know why they're
So they always check your bag?
They are always checking my bag.
That's weird. My bags never get opened for some reason.
Really?
I don't know why.
Maybe there's something wrong with my suitcase.
You didn't get a full cavity search as well, did you, or something like that?
Just for fun.
They do that every single time you go into the country.
Every time.
Every time.
It's the same guy, too.
Same guy. That's so bad. I noticed one thing while we were talking earlier on. You were kind of just doing this with your hand. Is that a wedding ring?
Oh, yeah. I got married last Sunday.
Congratulations. How was it?
Yeah, it was, so in Japan, when you get married at City Hall on Sunday, which is their day off, you have to go to like a little room in the back, basically.
All right.
Like they just have a little room just for marriages and people who are going for my number card.
Wait, are there 120 people waiting there for you? Or, no?
Yeah, just behind us.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. But so we went there and it's just like this little room with a wall where this guy is like sitting behind it and like you hand him the paper and then he's like, okay, do you want a picture taken? And then we're like, okay, yeah, sure.
Wait, asked if you wanted a picture taken?
Yeah.
I didn't have that service. What's this?
The guy was actually really nice. Like he was smiling a lot and he was really old and like we gave him my phone and like he was like fiddling with it for a while and he's like, oh wait, that's my face. How do I make it face you? And I was like, it's been like a minute and you're like looking at whatever.
Was he flicking through the filters or something like that? Trying to find the most romantic one? I don't know.
But then he took our picture and it's not the best spot for pictures. It's a normal gray background with trash cans behind us.
Right.
Right. As most wedding photos are.
My mum and dad's wedding photos from the 70s, right? They got married. My dad liked some white tuxedo type thing on like John Travolta and everything, all the wedding dress. And they got married in a part of Sheffield that was a bit run down, I guess, at the time. And they both stood there like looking happy with the family around and stuff like that. And the wall behind them has got a giant cock drawn on it in spray paint, and they didn't notice. It's a brilliant photo.
That's great.
Love it. Yeah, when I went to City Hall, I went in and like basically they gave me a calendar to collect the rubbish. What days you should put the rubbish out.
I didn't get that.
Oh, you are married now. So I was like, the fuck is this? No congratulations or anything.
Oh.
So we went outside and just looked at each other and we're like, what do we do now? You know?
Yeah. In America, I think it's almost always done same day as the wedding party, right?
Yeah,
like
you do it. That's what you do in
and...
England. That's what you do at the church. You sign the register, you're done. You know what I mean? That's the same thing. But in Japan, they split it into two.
Yeah.
And usually the wedding party or whatever is 6 months after.
Yeah.
I don't know why they do that. And they don't tell people that they're married.
Yeah.
That's the other weird thing. Don't change the surname. Women, a lot of the time.
Oh, well, my wife,
yeah.
I gotta get used to saying wife, not girlfriend. My wife is changing her name to my name, thankfully.
Yeah, do it quick, because if you don't change it quickly, I think it's a 6 months gap you've got. After that, it becomes very, very difficult to do.
She did it yesterday, so
you're good. All good. Yeah,
but,
nice.
Yeah, I'll probably put pictures up on Patreon if you want to see that beautiful gray wall with the flickering light and the trash cans behind us.
Is there a huge cock on the wall as well?
No, just
I
me.
can Photoshop that in afterwards.
Yeah.
It's important. Good to have. Okay, well, I think that's wrapped up everything for today. So,
a little bit of a shorter episode than usual, but hope you enjoyed the show. Hopefully Mitch is having a nice time in Vegas.
What's he doing anyway? Has he gone back to see his family?
Yeah, he went back to see his family and party it up, you know.
Party, yeah. That's why he lost weight before he went, so I'm going to see how fat he is when he gets back. That's
you got to comment, you gained weight.
Yeah, he'll hate that. He hates it, right?
That's how he always greets people.
I know, yeah. He's always prodding you in the belly, right?
Yeah.
Motherfucker. I don't know.
All right. Well, if you enjoyed the show, hit like. If you're listening through Apple Podcasts, please give us a review. Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
And if you really enjoyed the show, please support us on Patreon. We have monthly either thank you videos or live chats. I think next month we're going to try to find a day where either you or Natsuki or both of you guys and Mitch and I can do a little chat with our patrons and maybe have a few drinks or something too.
Yeah, man.
Have a nice little hangout. But yeah, if you enjoyed the show, hit like, subscribe for more. Thank you for watching.
All right, take it easy. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.